Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Melissa and I'm a nursing student. So today's video is going to be all about how to move forward once you have failed a class. I right now am working on my third degree, but before I went back to school for this degree, I have an undergraduate degree and I have a master's degree where I was an honors student. And in both of those programs, I failed classes. And failing a class, of course, can be demoralizing, it can be degrading, it of course can be embarrassing, but it's one of those things where if it happens, you have to get past it and push forward in order to succeed. So if you have failed a class, the first thing that you need to do is to reach out to the professor that you had and see what you did to fail or what you could have done differently in order to pass their course. Now, you may not be able to stand this professor. You could loathe this professor with everything in you. You may not even get a real response to them once you reach out to them, but I still think that this is an important thing to do for a few reasons. Number one, depending on how big your school is or what your program is in, this may be the only professor teaching this course. So even though you just failed their class, you may have to encounter them again whenever you retake the course. And so if that happens, it is important that they know that failing their class was very serious to you. You took it very seriously and you want to make sure that you succeed the next time. You're not just rolling over and giving up. It also helps to build a better rapport with the professor, especially if you do not already have a good standing with the professor, that they know you didn't just fail their class because you didn't care. You did try your hardest and now you're reaching out to them to see what you can do next time in order to succeed. So the second thing that you should do if you have failed a class is to find out your school's policy. So there are different policies depending on which school you're in, and there can even be different policies for different programs or different majors within the same school. You need to figure out what your school's policy is and what your program is regarding failing classes. Some programs will allow you to fail a class once or even twice without any penalty. Other programs, if you fail a class or if you fail two classes, you may be in danger of getting kicked out of the program or even out of school. If that is the case, I would advise you to write an appeal immediately. Even if you did not have an extenuating circumstance, I always think it's best not to make one up. You can just be honest and write an appeal. The worst that could happen is that your appeal gets denied, but in my opinion, it's better to write the appeal and get denied than to not even try at all. So the third thing that you should do after you fail a class is reach out to your advisor, especially if you are in danger of getting kicked out of your program or out of school. Reach out to an advisor immediately and find out what the appeal process is. So what I mentioned in the last step about writing an appeal, if you are in danger of getting kicked out, talk to your advisor and find out what the process is to appeal a withdrawal or to appeal getting kicked out and who you need to address your appeal to. If you are not in danger of getting kicked out of your program or of your school, still reach out to an advisor to figure out how your degree plan is going to change. For some programs, depending on your circumstance and depending on what class you're taking, the class that you just failed may be available next session or next semester, and you just have to enroll in that class, and that's that. In other situations, there's certain classes that are not offered every semester or not offered every session, and you may have to wait a session or two or a semester or two to take it. If that is the case, your graduation date may be pushed back. And if that is the case, you can possibly work with an advisor to see if there are any classes that you can take in the meantime while you're waiting to retake the class you just failed, just to see if there's any way that your graduation date is not pushed back any. In some cases, depending on the class that you failed and the program that you're in, you may not even need to retake that class. There may be a different class that you can take that meets the same credit requirement or degree requirement. So I know a lot of things are automated. Even my school, most of the things that we would do with an advisor are automated. I think in a situation where you fail a class, especially if you're in danger of getting kicked out, and especially if your degree plan is going to change and your graduation date may get pushed back, I would always say reach out to your advisor directly. Don't just do everything electronically because there may be a loophole or an alternative that your advisor may be willing to share with you and work with you to figure out. And the final thing that you should do if you fail a class or after you fail a class is to learn from your mistakes. There's a reason why you failed this class. Yes, trust me, I know I've had awful professors, so I do know that some professors are just awful and unreasonable, but it's very rare for somebody to fail a class based on just the professor alone. Maybe you did not grasp the concepts in class and that affected your exam and quiz grades, and that ultimately ended up in you failing the course. Whatever the case is, it's really good to reflect on that, learn from your mistakes, and then create a game plan for when you have to take the class again. With the former situation that I mentioned about maybe your time management skills weren't great, if that is the case, I would advise while you're waiting to retake the class or you're waiting to take a class to complete that credit, sit down and write out a work study game plan. So you literally have a schedule of what days and what times you're going to be studying, when you're going to be doing your homework, and when you're going to be turning it in. That will decrease the likelihood of you turning in assignments late. For the example where maybe you didn't grasp the concepts and you weren't doing well on the quizzes and the exams, this time around, plan to reach out to either a tutor or your professor or your school's resources earlier than you did the first time you took the course. Maybe even while you're waiting to retake the course, read your textbook and see what resources are available in your school to help you to make sure that you're successful the next time that you want to take it. Ultimately, reflecting on your mistakes, learning from them, and then creating a game plan so that it doesn't happen again is to help prevent you from failing the course a second time. In my opinion, the only thing worse than failing a class once is to fail the exact same class a second time. So you need to reflect and make sure that you don't do it again. Failing a class happens to the best of us. I'm very blessed that I have not failed a class in this program, my nursing program, so far, knock on wood. I'm in my second to last class. But like I said, I have 2 degrees before this, and I definitely failed multiple classes my first go at college when I was doing my undergraduate degree. And when I was in my master's degree, eventually I did enter into an honors program and I was a straight A student eventually, but there was one class that I failed, and ultimately I failed that because the professor was horrible, but on my own accord, I didn't have the best time management skills. And so there was a major assignment that I ended up turning in late, and that is what had me fail the class. So the next time that I took the class, when I had to retake it, it was with the same professor. I did reach out to her to see what I could do better, and that did help build a better rapport between us. And then the next time that I took the class, I made sure that I submitted all of my assignments early. I got everything done early, that way I wasn't scrambling at the last minute to turn in my assignments, and that way nothing could happen, and I ended up passing the class, I think with an A the second time that I took it. So it's nothing to be ashamed of, it's nothing to be embarrassed of. Some people don't fail any classes, while other people do. It doesn't make you any less of a student or a bad student. Sometimes things just happen. It's just important to take the right course of corrective action and to make sure that you are successful the next time that you take the class. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please comment down below if you have any questions or have anything you'd like to add. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you in my next video.